Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nastaprayeshu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloka Sloke Bhaktir Bhaivati Naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed to practically nil. And thus loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental hymns, becomes established. Isn't it a revocable fact? Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is our very means of conquest. We first offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasa Devi, the author. Okay, we're reading from first canto, chapter 19, the appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. And we're on text number 24. Please repeat. Tatas cha va prithyam imam vipriche. Tatas cha va prithyam imam vipriche.
Tatas cha va prithyam imam vipriche.
Vishravya Vipra Iti Krityatayam Vishravya Vipra Iti Krityatayam Sarvatmana Vriyamanais Vriyamanais Cha Krityam Sarvatmanam Vriyamanais Cha Krityam Sudam Cha Tatra Mishitabi Yuktaha
Tatra Vrishatavi Yuktaha
Tatas Chava Pricham Imam Vipriche
Tatas Chava Pricham Imam Vipriche
Vishravya Vipra Iti Kriyatayam
Vishravya Vipra Iti Kriyatayam
Sarvatmana Mriyamanais Chakrityam
Sarvatmana Mriyamanais Chakrityam
Sudam Cha Tatra Mishatabi Yuktaha
Sudam Cha Tatra Mishatabi Yuktaha
Tatas Chava Prithyam Imam Vipriche
Tatas Chava Pricham Imam Vipriche
Vishravya Vipra Iti Kriyatayam
Vishravya Vipra Iti Kriyatayam
Sarvatmana Mriyamanais Chakrityam Sudam Cha Tatra Mishatabi Yuktaha Tatas Chava Pricham Imam Vipriche Vishabhya Vipra iti kriyatayam.
Vishabhya Vipra iti krityatatyam.
Sarvatmanam miyamanais chakrityam.
Sarvatmanam niyamanas chakrityam.
Sudam cha tatra mishatabhiyuktaha.
Shuddham cha tatra mishatabhiyuktaha.
Tatascha va pricham imam vipriche.
Tatascha va pricham imam vipriche.
Vishrabhya vipra iti kritatayam.
Vishabhya Vipra iti kriyatayam.
Sarvatmamriya manaischa krityam.
Sarvatmanam miyamanais chakrityam.
Sudam cha tatra mishatabhiyuktaha.
Sudam cha tatra mishatabhiyuktaha.
Tataschava prirchayam imam vipriche.
Tatascha va pricham imam vipriche.
Vishrabhaya vipra iti kirtratayam.
Vishabhya Vipra iti kriyatayam.
Sarvatmana niyaman nasya chakrityam.
Sarvatmanam miyamanais chakrityam.
Sudham cha tatatra mirsya sata vyayuktam.
Sudam cha tatra mishatabhiyuktaha.
Tatascha va pricham imam vipriche.
Tatascha va pricham imam vipriche.
Vishrabhya Vipra iti krityatayam.
Vishabhya Vipra iti kriyatayam.
Sarvatmanam niyamanas chakrityam.
Sarvatmanam miyamanais chakrityam.
Shuddham cha tatra mishatabhiyuktaha.
Sudam cha tatra mishatabhiyuktaha. Okay, word for word. Tataha is sech. Cha in. Vaha unto you. Pricham that which is to be asked. Imam this. Vipriche beg to ask you. Vishabhya trustworthy. Vipraha brahmanas. Iti thus. Kriyatayam out of all different duties. Sarva Atmana by everyone. Miyamanai especially those who are about to die. Cha in Kriyam dutiful. Sudam perfectly correct. Cha in Tatra therein Amrishata by complete deliberation. Abhiyuktaha just befitting. Tastrava pricham imam vipriche vishamya vipra iti kriyatayam savatmanamritya manais chakrityam sudam chatatra mishatabhiyuktaha. O trustworthy Brahmanas, I now ask about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and especially for those who are just about to die. Please repeat. O trustworthy Brahmanas, I now ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances. and especially of those who are just about to die. Srila Prabhupada's divine purport. Oh, gee, we just think do it way up here. I don't think it's even on, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It was. Yeah. In this verse, the king has placed two questions before the learned sages. The first question is what is the duty of everyone in all circumstances? And the second question is, what is the specific duty of one who is to die very shortly? Out of the two, the question relating to the dying man is most important, because everyone is a dying man, either very, very shortly or after 100 years. The duration of life is immaterial, but the duty of a dying man is very important. Maharaj Parikshit placed these two questions before Sukadeva Goswami upon his arrival, and practically the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, beginning from the second canto up to the last 12th canto, deals with these two questions. The conclusion arrived at thereof is that devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna is confirmed by the Lord himself, and the last phases of the Bhagavad Gita is the last word in relation to everyone's permanent duty in life. Maharaj Parikshit was already aware of this fact, but he wanted the great sages assembled there to unanimously give their verdict on his conviction, so that he might be able to go on with his confirmed duty without controversy. He has especially mentioned the word Sutta, or perfectly correct. For transcendental realization or self-realization, many processes are recommended by various classes of philosophers. Some of them are first-class methods, and some of them are second or third-class methods. The first-class method demands that one give up all other methods and surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus be saved from all sins and their reactions. I'll repeat that last sentence. Some of them are first-class methods. Well, let's repeat the last two sentences. For transcendental realization or self-realization, many processes are recommended by various classes of philosophers. Some of them are first-class methods, and some of them are second or third-class methods. End of sentence, so it's 3 sentences. The first-class method demands that one give up all other methods and surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus be saved from all sins and their reactions. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 24th sloka of the 19th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. Srila Prabhupada ki. I offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, who has opened my eyes, although I was born in the darkness of ignorance. When will Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within the material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? So in one sense, Rupa Goswami has certainly given us shelter under his lotus feet if our spiritual master has opened our eyes. That's the important thing. If our eyes aren't open, then how can we take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet? How can we have the shelter of the disciplinate succession, of whom Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami are foremost disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is actually the authority of our disciplinate succession. So, the disciples' job, taking shelter of the lotus feet of the spiritual master, is to open his eyes, whether it be gradually or abruptly. In any case, the point is for the eyes to open. If we keep them shut, then there'll be so many problems on the path of devotional service and the course of life. So, open our eyes is the important thing. The spiritual master is doing everything to do that, but the disciple has to cooperate. If the disciple refuses to cooperate or is simply plagued by his disease condition to the extent that he laments too much and hankers too drastically, and it's very difficult for the spiritual master. He has to somehow ever, break the disciple's attachment. The spiritual master, he has that capability because he wields the sword of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Srimad Bhagavatam will break that attachment to what is impermanent and ultimately a cause of misery. So, but many times it's Prabhupada used to give the example of someone suffering from some delirium or some being delirious due to disease and refusing to cooperate with the doctor. The doctor's trying to give some medicine and the person is saying no, for countless reasons. No, I'm not taking it. And sometimes they have to, I can't think of a better word, but strap them down and give the medicine in order for the person to be cured. So similarly, the spiritual master is Krishna's representative, bona fide representative, and sometimes Krishna, for the person who has some sincerity, he has to hold them down, so to speak, or he has to actually break that attachment so the things that may be very dear to him, including possibly his own body, may be have to be drastically dealt with. I've seen cases. I can remember one case very, very early when I was a new devotee. There was one Bhakta John at the temple. I was also Bhakta John. And he was, he wasn't a Kirtaniya, but he was, he could sing and play guitar. And he liked singing and with his guitar and chanting Hare Krishna. And he would come to the temple, but he'd always go away. He just had too much attachment. So one day we got the news at the temple that Bhakta John was playing baseball. And it was raining or drizzling that day, and he was hit by lightning and died. So Krishna, we could understand, at least we thought, our little realization was that Krishna had taken him out of this circumstances because he was too attached to sense enjoyment and couldn't quite surrender, although he wanted to surrender. He just couldn't surrender. Because maybe his life seemed very nice, and he was, but he was qualified enough for Krishna to deal with him like that. Otherwise Krishna wouldn't have dealt with him like that, because Krishna doesn't take away the Jivatma's independence. The Jivatma, I mean, we're all here because we want to surrender. So Krishna made facility for everyone. He lets people be football players. He lets people be, concert orchestrators and, be physicists and whatever, He arranges this whole world for our sense gratification. From being a Brahma down to being an Indragupta, the Indra Jern. 8,400,000 different species of life. And people want to enjoy sex, but no human being can enjoy sex like a monkey or a pigeon. They have fantastic sexual proclivity, whereas we are drastically limited in that capacity. We can think, though. We have intelligence, and that is where we become philosophers, and they never become philosophers. The ever mammals and reptiles, etc., species of life. They always just remain according to their nature. A good alligator, or a good snake, or a good pigeon, whatever it be, a good bird, but never a philosopher or a thinker. A person who thinks, why is this happening? That doesn't seem to be justice. Or, why do people suffer? Who is controlling? What is going on here? Why is it always, cold and then hot? And, why do people cheat? Why do people do what they do? People can think about all the animals don't bother with all that stuff. They just go on with their business. So then this wonderful verse is these two questions that Parikshit Maharaj is asking the trustworthy Brahmanas, and the one of the most trustworthy is about to appear and become his spiritual master by the consent of the older devotees that are there, such as his own father and literary incarnation of God, Vyasadeva, and very powerful demigods. I assume Brahma and Shiva may have been there. Of course, Vishnu is whom it's all about. And it mentions how Parikshit, he knew the answers, but he wanted confirmation from the great sages and devotees. He knew the answer. I mean, Krishna, Vishnu had already appeared in his heart, and he could remember that, even though he was still within the womb. Vishnu had appeared along with him to save him in the womb of his mother. So he was certainly a self-realized soul. But he had to carry out the duties. And this is really unique to the Bhagavatam, because Parikshit asks two questions. What is a person's specific duty? And especially, what is the duty of one who's about to die? So the Bhagavatam teaches that our specific duty is varnashram, dharma. The dharma is our duty. And varnashram means our occupation and our status in life. What are we? Are we just a young student? Are we just a student? Because, there's a difference between a kid and a man, or a student and a professional. And there's a difference between those people and one who is retired, who has been through all these experiences already, and now they're retired. And then there's a difference between those who have the intelligence, the Shakti, and the renunciation to enter into this special order called the sannyas order of life. The order of renunciation, where civilly they are dead. Just like a man, when he is dead, they get a death certificate. They're dead. You can't charge them money. You can't make them pay the bill. You may try to attack their relatives, but they're gone. So similarly, a sannyasi is dead to society. You know, they are renounced from the world. They are there just being Krishna conscious, wherever they are. And by the grace of the Lord, those who surround them, you know, will understand. You know, they can articulate the teachings, because after all, they are scholarly. And they can exemplify the teachings, because after all, they're detached. You know, they can't say one thing and then go off and do another, because they're detached from the world. They're not, you know, the order demands that they have no sense gratification. You know, they don't go home at night and, you know, and do what they want. You know, they have no home. Their home is everywhere. Their floor is the earth, and their roof is the sky. It's like the Goswamis. They were in the last topmost order of sannyas. They were Paramahamsas. And they would live under a tree at night. In the second canto it says, why does a man have to go looking for a nice pillow when he can use his arm? Why do we have to go and find all kinds of fancy clothes when there's always some rag or some piece of clothing we can wear? You know, so these sannyasis, what do they have? They got like this, you know, one cloth, the same style all the time. You know, maybe sometimes it's silk and other times it's cotton. Sometimes they can get it ironed, other times they can't. But it's the same style. And then, you know, they either have no hair or they never bother with their hair. And it becomes all matted. So, these duties are taught in the Bhagavatam for people. You know, what to do your duty. You know, everybody, you know, people wonder, you know, what is my duty? They wonder this all the time. You know, especially young people. Some people know by just their by their remembrance of their previous nature. Their nature is so clean, so to speak. They're just so passionate. There's no doubt in their mind that they're a Kshatriya, and that administration and governance and protection is who they are in this life, you know. Whereas others, you know, on Kali Yuga, it's all mixed up. And so people are thinking, you know, maybe I'm just, you know, should be a salesman. Or maybe, you know, I should run for election. You know, I don't like the way, you know, things are being done by those people. You know, I should, you know, put my 2 cents in. They think, you know, I prefer just to have my own little shop, you know, and not bother with other people. And people, you know, we think so many things. You know, I'm just going to learn and teach. After all, that's so simple. I just have my students and I just teach. If they don't pay attention, I just fail them. You know, and for those who are good, I give what I know, you know. I mean, some people know these things, others, they're just all mixed up, you know, and it changes, you know. We even have this term in the modern world. That person has a midlife crisis. All of a sudden, their whole life changes. You see the lady run away with the motorcycle gang. She was there living in Professor So-and-so's house. Was a good wife, 3 children, and she runs off with a motorcycle gang. She had a midlife crisis. Or you see the guy, you know, all of a sudden, you know, he was this, and then the next thing you know, he's something else. They become a gay. They had wife and children and were a respectable person in society. Next thing you know, they're on the fringe of society. And they say, this is who I am. I just, you know, I just kept it concealed or something, you know. So this is our modern world. People are just like that. But, the Bhagavatam is teaching us. Human life is meant for training ourselves. It's meant for being strict. It's meant for some discipline. Not being like an animal. An animal can be whimsical, but an animal can never deviate from its nature. A snake can't become a bird. And a bird can't become a snake. A lion can't become a hyena. And a hyena can't be a lion. So, but a human being, we're meant to go back home to Godhead. And it begins with discipline, So we take our birth, whether we're lucky or not, we have to be disciplined to advance. We have to see what I am. Am I a student? Well, if you're not married, then you should be a student. But, if you're just older and still not married, then, you may have some more discipline, but you have to see that the opportunity there is a student. And if there is no opportunity to be a grahasta, then one has to sometimes accept destiny. And then, with our own free will, then, do what will help us to either achieve what we want or to make a better life in the next life, or again, to simply go back home to Godhead by taking up the science of pure devotional service. Krishna gives ample opportunity for everyone to fulfill their desire. Especially in this age, he's made it very easy. He says everyone can just chant Hare Krishna, whether you have all kinds of needs and wants, still just chant Hare Krishna. Or whether you are renounced from the world and don't want anything, then just chant Hare Krishna. Or whether you're a devotee and all you want to do is serve Krishna, you want to help Krishna's mission, and you're ready to do whatever Krishna gives you to do, then just chant Hare Krishna. And everything will take place. It's the touchstone for this age. Everybody's looking for a touchstone in our world because everybody is so desirous of sense gratification, and the way to fulfill that sense gratification is with money or wealth. And so therefore, a touchstone can provide that. When you have all the money that you can possibly have, then there's the possibility of fulfilling whatever desire you want in this world. So people, so the touchstone in this age is not a physical object. It's a sound vibration, the Mahamantra. That Mahamantra will fulfill our needs. It will give us what we need. It will help our burning heart. And along with the Mahamantra comes the person who owns it, who is distributing it. Like we were reading in the Chaitanya Charanamrita this morning, how Lord Chaitanya came to Varanasi, and no one would buy his goods. He's a minister, so he has some teaching, but no one was buying it. But the devotees were crying. The few devotees that were there were crying because Lord Chaitanya was being criticized and people were making fun of his goods. So Lord Chaitanya gave it away to everyone and made everyone happy. So that's Mahaprabhu's divine mercy in this age. He broke open the treasure house of love for Krishna, and he's simply dispersing it to people. And his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can do that. Here we are suffering. Samsara davan nalalita loka, burning up in the fire of sense gratification, trying to fulfill our desires at every moment. And the spiritual master comes like a rain cloud. It's such a perfect analogy. because of all these forest fires that are very hard to put out. And unless Providence is very merciful, if Providence just keeps things dry and windy, it's extremely difficult to put out a forest fire. But as soon as the wind dies down and a rain cloud bursts, then that fire will go out. So the spiritual master is like a rain cloud. He comes and he rains upon the burning desires of sense gratification and cuts that knot of attachment to what is causing us pain. But yet we're like a delirious sick person crying for sense gratification. So the spiritual master comes and puts that out. So one way he does that, the way he does that is to teach the Bhagavatam. But the Bhagavatam is teaching the science of Varnashram and Daiva Varnashram. What to do in life. Who am I? What am I to do with myself? I have, this need and that need, and I have this question and that question. How am I to answer it and fulfill myself? That's what the Bhagavatam does. It is Krishna. It is said that when Krishna went back home to Godhead, because when Krishna was here, maybe we could just go take shelter of him, and Krishna would help us out. But Krishna has left. But he's left the Bhagavatam to give that light. All we have to do is be able to read. So all glory is to modern education because it teaches every kid to read. In different languages, yes. But still everyone can read in a certain language. And all glory is to Srila Prabhupada because he's made the Bhagavatam available in all those languages. Yeah. No one had to become a Sanskrit scholar in order to read. Because nobody in the Western world, especially in 1966, could read Sanskrit. Now it's a little bit more popular and they even teach it in some public high schools. None that I know of in America, but in Ireland and Britain they do. Perhaps in Germany some, because they see it as a perfectly phonetic language that actually helps people's language and communication skills and opens up their thoughts and brains. Some schools have scientifically determined that, have agreed with that and have utilized it. But prior to Prabhupada's coming, there was only some Sanskrit scholars that made a living in academia, teaching it, but really who were not devotees of the culture of that language. They were just people who perfectly, to some degree, understood the language and could speak it and compose with it and teach it. So Srila Prabhupada, he not only gave us the Sanskrit, but he gave it to us in our language to hear Krishna and understand what to do in life and how to fulfill ourselves and ultimately to go back home to Godhead, which is the most important duty because, death will come. So then what am I to do? Still try to, be a sculptor or still try to be a painter or a newspaper person, a journalist, or whatever it be, just keep at it until I die? I mean, what is a retired man to do? Just travel around looking at football games or looking at canyons and national parks? Or just laying back and watching TV and eating whatever you want to eat? Is that what all retired people are supposed to do? I mean, they're not supposed to prepare for death? This thing that's lurking over us? I mean, what are we to do? That's what they want to do, what these sense gratifiers want to do, is just euthanize themselves. Or have some doctor come in and just euthanize them. Because then they don't think they have to feel any pain and they're not They're so dull, they're not worried about where they're going in the next life because they don't believe in it. They've convinced themselves that because I don't believe in it, there isn't one. They're such fools. Because I don't believe in it, because my philosophy is that there is no next life, then I don't have to worry about it. All those religious people are just worrying themselves to death. They laugh and they have another beer, or they just enjoy themselves as being some sort of unique person who's really understood what life is all about. And they may smoke a pipe or they may not. But because I think it, does that make it real? I mean, did they really, really investigate it all? Or were they really just prejudiced to their own thoughts and refused to be disciplined by any sort of shastra or any other thoughts on the matter? So, the spiritual master is not that type of person. He sits the disciple down and says, hey, you got to do something in life to help yourself. It's just not going to, cure itself. Getting detached from the material world. You're just going to get more attached and, more desirous, and then you're going to simply implode or explode. And just look at our world. I mean, the people that explode. So, therefore, it's important that we, have a teacher. Not that we just have arithmetic teachers, mathematic teachers, this type of teacher, that type of teacher. We want to learn chess, so we have a chess teacher. No, we need a spiritual master, a person who understands life, who knows what's going to happen at the time of death, who knows the science of the soul, that when the body turns to dust or ash, what happens to the self? Where do I go? These are the things the spiritual master can answer and help the student to help themselves. The spiritual master can help every student, the neophyte as well as the advanced. It's not like everybody's advanced. Most of the people are just neophytes. The spiritual master has to spend most of his time just teaching Varnashram to most people. People, they can't be peaceful. Maybe somebody's just blessed with some peace in life, but that's their karma. Karma changes according to activity. They're peaceful now, but then they're doing things that may make them unpeaceful sooner or later. So, the guru knows how to help the disciple. That's why they're guru. Guru is a special type of teacher. He deals with the soul, the person. He's not just dealing with a particular subject matter like fixing cars. He's not a machinist. He's not an agriculturist. He's not just teaching us how to grow things. He's not a barber. A stylist, a designer, an architect. He's none of these things. He may be retired from any of those things. But he's teaching the important thing in life. What are you going to do at the time of death? Just let whoever comes for you take you? You're just going to leave it up to fate. People don't like to hear about that everything's predestined, especially in our part of the world. Oh, everything's predestined. That's a miserable philosophy. People can't even help themselves. But yet that's what they're doing at the time of death. They're just leaving it up to fate. Krishna's philosophy is that whatever we've done in the past is creating our destiny. But what we do now creates the future destiny. So how we deal with what we've done in the past is important. And what we do at the time of death is even more important. And how we react to that will depend on how we act in life. In the Gita, Krishna says those who remember him can come to him. But if we think we're just going to do that by just believing in that and then doing whatever else we want throughout our life and just thinking, I got it made at the end of life, I'm just going to remember Krishna. All right, that's better than the person who doesn't even care for Krishna. But, this life and this world is full of misery. And when we're attacked by various diseases, our whole mind can become deranged. We may not remember anything, or we may remember the most stupid things. Because of diseased condition, diseased mind. There's not only physical disease, there's mental disease. There's dementia, there's Alzheimer's, there's so many types of diseases. So we have to, Prabhupada would say it's a, not just a discipline, it's a training. Those who train themselves. And he would say it's better late than never. Better late than never to start training oneself. That's why we take the trouble to chant Hare Krishna. That's why we take the trouble to come to a class on Srimad Bhagavatam. We could be doing something else. But to hear the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada considered most important. He would say, if you can't stay awake, then go out and do something practical. He would say, all right, go plow the earth and grow something for the devotees to eat. But those who have the intelligence should take advantage. Those who can stay awake, they may not have the intelligence, but they can stay awake. They can hear. Then they should take advantage. That's what he wanted for his students. We're all students of Prabhupada. It's Prabhupada's books that we're learning from. So we have to train ourselves, because the death will come to each and every one of us, and we never know how it's going to come and when it's going to come. But it's going to come. It's coming. Right now, it's coming. We just don't know when it's going to pull up and say, get in. And you have no choice but to get in. You're going to say, get in, Dr. John. And you're not going to be able to say, where am I going? Don't worry about it. Get in. They just grab you and pull you in. But where am I going? Shut up. Get in and be quiet. Oh, what is this? What did I tell you? If you open your mouth again, you're going to get it, So it can be harsh, and maybe it'll be very nice. Get in. John, you did some nice service. Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. Just sit down and be happy. Or maybe Krishna, because you remember Krishna. Krishna, you're really there. You've come out of your deity, Krishna. No, I was always there in the deity, John. Why didn't you see me like that? So Krishna is amazing, If we remember him, he'll never let us down. There's the Indian Bollywood movie of the guy who prayed to Krishna. I can't remember the whole movie, but it's one of those movies like he offended his wife's deity, stole the money from the wife's deity. And then he did something. He said, she was chastising him. He said, if your Krishna is real, then this and that. And then Krishna proved himself to him, and he actually saw like the cosmic form of Krishna, and Krishna rewarded his desires, and he went from a pauper to a big rich guy. But then his sons were cheating him, and his daughter, let him down completely, and his wife had an affair, and everything. So he just became detached, and he went back to Krishna in the end. He goes back to Krishna. He gives the business to the son. He blesses his wife with an estate. He gives his daughter his support, and he just goes off with Krishna like that. He just becomes detached. So Krishna is there for all of us, but we can't have our material life and Krishna too. unless we do that properly. But then, how many lives do we want to do that in this material world? There's always the danger of forgetting Krishna in the material world. You know, you performing Varna, just like Maharaj Niga. He was a great Karmakandi king. You know, and kings have everything that common people want. But he made one little mistake and he had to become a lizard. You know, but because he was so pious, he got to remember his previous life. But not all lizards get to remember their previous lives. So, you know, there's always the risk of becoming something else. Like Prabhupada, when he was he spoke about Maharaj Bharata. He was a great king, so great that they named the planet after him. He was the son of an incarnation. They named the planet after him. He was such a great king, and he renounced everything. Just like Parikshit Maharaj, but he made a mistake. He became attached to a pet, and when he went to find his pet who was lost, he tripped and fell, and hit his head and died. And the pet was still on his mind, and he became the pet. Took the body of a pet, but he was, because of who he was, he got to remember his last life. But what if it's you and me? We may get to remember our previous life, and there we are, you know, a pig, or, you know, some Joe Blow in New York, or Delhi, or wherever, you know. And, you know, you have to start all over. Of course, Krishna says you never lose your devotional service, so maybe we'll hear the Harinam coming down the street, and all of a sudden some bells will ring, and, you know, we'll, you know, become a devotee again. And, but, you know, all those, having to take birth again, these are not nice things in human society. Or even if we become a demigod, then we may just really forget, because life is so nice as a demigod. We may really forget until the demons attack and chase us all out of our kingdom, or we lose, or we win. And sometimes, you know, winning and fighting, you know, doesn't mean you don't get hurt, or you don't lose someone that you love. These things, you know, it's very dangerous in this material world. So, you know, we can all go back home, back to Godhead, and that's the question, or the answer to Parikshit's second question. What is a dying man supposed to do? He's supposed to go back home to Godhead, but, you know, that has to be qualified by how you do that. So, you know, how to do that is by hearing and chanting and remembering Krishna, you know, worshiping Krishna, offering prayers to Krishna. Just like Yogindra, because he remembered his prayers from his previous life, as King Indradumna. Then when he was attacked and in a dangerous situation, he remembered Krishna. Krishna saved him. So that's the big lesson to learn. And, you know, hearing from the Bhagavatam on a regular basis, from the very first book to the very last book, makes us expert at that. So time has moved on, and it's time for us to move on. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.